Good morning and welcome in, everyone. Before we get into this morning's update, I want to go over an overview of what to be expected today. As we can see, as the US has been sleeping overnight, crypto has been pushing up just a tiny bit. More recently, in the last hour or two, we've seen prices come up several percent. Ethereum right now is up 4.8%, back over the $2,000 level. Bitcoin's coming back up to about 84K. It's interesting to see. I'm going to be very interested to see how this reacts at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time in about an hour and a half. I want to see how we react as the U.S. wakes up. We have important stuff going on today. We have an FOMC meeting. So outside of the charts, we all have to have the basic understanding that they could either keep rates the same, they could lower rates, or they could raise rates, which I highly doubt they would raise rates. I'd say there's better than a 50% chance they keep them the same, and about a 40% chance that they lower rates. If they lower rates, that should be good for risk assets. If they keep it the same, it could put a little downward pressure still on crypto. But right now, this is certainly a nice bounce back. It's nice to see Ethereum over $2,000 an ounce. $2,000 a token right now. It's had quite the surge here overnight, and it's up better than 5%. Now, in regards to a normal pattern setup, Ethereum is trying to push back this way. Now we're going to have to come up, even if we make a push back to 2,300, we're going to have to come back above that first area, and then ultimately, Ethereum would have to get back above about 2,500 to come back within the rising channel. So we'll see if we can reverse this, form some kind of an inverse pattern, and then eventually push ourselves back into more of a bullish range. XRP is up 2.45% this morning, but let me do the intro real quick. Good morning. 7:48 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, March 19th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So it looks like we're starting to get some upward volatility. With XRP, we're up about 2.5% on the day, sitting at the $2.34 mark. We're now pushing back up towards a critical resistance level, which we'll come into contact with very quickly here. And right now in real time, that's going to be around, let's put it right here, $2.37.5. So we need to get over this $2.37.5. And in time, that could bring us up near the $3 level. If we look at this from a slightly different perspective, we came down where it needed to dive down. Now it looks like we created that inverse head and shoulders. We talked about it last night during the live, that it looks like it was starting to set up. And now if it does pull up, assuming we don't invalidate this, we definitely have something set up there on XLM. On XRP on this chart, we put that test back there and it just happened to hit it almost perfectly. We've had that up for several days, probably over a week. And that target initially could be 265 if we power out of here. And that's basing this that would be a bull flag. And then that's a nice little Gartley reversal that's happened to form here the last several days. So we're still optimistic. We're still optimistic that we can break out and XRP can start pushing these higher boundaries. So we know we have that $2, let's just say 38. And then ultimately, if we can break out, we've got a pivot point at 260. We've got some lower levels. But this could be a nice advancement here. Now, are we front running? Is this like kind of a buy the rumor, sell the news? Before the FOMC meeting, I don't know. We're going to have to see what kind of details emerge. But right now, this is a nice little surge here that is starting off with. I mean, obviously, everything is lower than where the drop point started, but it's still nice to see us come back in an upward trajectory. It would be nice to see Ethereum hold 2,000. And this will be a very big teller today. If Ethereum just ends up winding down, then obviously it was for nothing, but it did take the upward trajectory. It didn't dump all the way out. And now if it takes the upward trajectory, where's this at? We could say somewhere the final pull was here. I mean, you could see it start coming back up into this range. So I would definitely like to see it come up here. More so like come back up into this area. 2,180. Rather than dropping down to that 1,529. I mean, we came close enough. We were down all the way to 1,750. So it's about time for Ethereum. If it's going to reverse, we need to have some kind of nice upward tug here. Bitcoin, The thing I will say about Bitcoin is it did hold, like we said yesterday, it held this area at 81,000 perfectly. It's just held it perfectly. And now if it can push up from here, this just comes across, it's pretty stationary. This is like a flat resistance right now, pivot layer. But it would have to break above that 86,574. And once we get, I mean, it's a little downtrending, but once you get past it, for Bitcoin, it starts to open up the door to much bigger things. Then you can get back into the wider pattern. But there's so much stuff going on. I'm going to get rid of this just to make it easier. Get rid of this. That 114 was up there for a reason. All right. Just to make it a little easier. We're still in this little channel. We're on the top side of it, that falling channel. Back testing it as a support structure. So right now, I mean, we could start something theoretically here. The crypto market could get a little hot here, especially if they cut rates later today. So we'll pay attention to the FOMC meeting, and I'll keep everybody updated, and I'll do my best to try to do some kind of reporting on it. We'll see how the day's going. Maybe I can do it outside while Jerome Powell and they're speaking about the rate cut or, unchanged rates or raising rates, which I doubt. So we'll stay on top of this. But it's definitely something to be seen here. Total XRP market cap is up 2.24% to 135 billion. I like seeing that a lot. I like seeing this. So we'll see if we do get this surge. Because it does seem like we have a lot of inversion set up here, which is actually a very good sign, at least to me. I like seeing this kind of stuff set up. So we'll see the repercussions as the day goes on. But I really like that big W here. On this, what looks like a bull flag, inverse head and shoulders. I like this big W reversal here. So in the title, you're going to see like XRP to surge with, or hopes surging, or surging hopes with FOMC meeting looming. Like it looks like we're getting some upward volatility, which I'm so happy to see this morning. But like I always say, every morning, I'll reserve the right to be more, hey, more jolly. When we wake up at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the East Coast or in the Eastern Standard Time Zone, and then on the West Coast Pacific Standard Time, I'll be more anxious once they get up at 6 a.m. as we still got about an hour and 10 minutes. And a lot of times, we'll come in with super upward momentum just to use the USA as exit liquidity, or the USA pulls profits right away. So I'm excited to see this with Ethereum reversing. I'm excited to see everything reversing, but I reserve the right for about an hour and a half here. Let's get to 9:30 and see, or 10 o'clock and see what the general narrative is. But right now, this is nice. We've got that huge Bitcoin short at 84,000. Their liquidation's right around 86,100. And like I said yesterday, you got to have some balls to have that open when you're on the top side of a falling channel and you've been using that as a support structure. That is begging for 86,574. If this just holds a little bit longer, and that would liquidate that, a 40x short. You only need to miss 2.5% in reality, and it'll be liquidated. So that's going to be something of a developing story to watch today. And if I was that short, I'd be sweating right now, especially because that held on that back test. I would be sweating. Now, Bitcoin dominance is down 0.25%. Doesn't seem like a lot. But we absolutely might have topped out here. And if that's the case, we need Bitcoin dominance to start diving here. We need to lose the 4 hourly here at 61.2%. Then when we start looking into the higher time frames, we're losing the 20-day here in the daily, which is a good sign. Weekly looks like it needs the... That looks bearish. This looks like a bear flag setup for Bitcoin dominance. And this is what we need. We really need something like this. I mean, massively. That looks like a nice bear flag that's formed in there. So, assuming that this is a bear flag, this is going to bring us back down somewhere near. That could bring us down 3, 4, 5%. Now, I'm not unaware that that could be an inversion setup there. And obviously, we have a weekly golden cross. So, I wouldn't be surprised if this held. It's just we're looking at the momentary things. Monthly, we have a bullish cross. So, that's another thing to be discussed. So, I mean, we're not out of the woods yet. It's just we have a little bit of optimism today. But we'll discuss this in a few hours. We'll see where Ethereum settles when the U.S. wakes up. We'll see where crypto settles when the Pacific Standard Time at 6 o'clock when the West Coast is up. And we'll see when most traders on the Eastern Standard Time Zone at 9, 9:30, 10 a.m. Allow the West Coast from 6 to 7 a.m. to start getting acclimated. But because of their time zone, they're used to trading at earlier times. The U.S. is used to trading around 9:30. It's just the way it goes. And on the Eastern Standard Time. So I'm XRP Future Millionaire. I'm going to leave this as the update. I really appreciate everybody watching. We went through a lot of things this morning. So you might have to watch it twice, and you might have to look at this from a much deeper scope when it comes to how the market is reacting and understanding what generally happens while the U.S. is asleep. So we just need to hold this uptick, and it could be something special today. We need to see what Jerome Powell in the FOMC meeting does. If they lower rates, keep it the same, or raise it. They're not going to raise it. But there is a big chance they keep it the same, a slightly smaller chance they lower rates, and if they lower it, it's good for risk assets. Will be good for mining stocks, commodities, gold and silver, precious metals. And if they raise rates, it would be horrible for risk assets. It's what we need in this country. It'd be great for our savings and for anybody who's into the bonds and stuff like that, because the rates would go up. But there's a lot to be determined, a lot to be desired, and a lot to be expected, and a lot to theorize about. So we'll let this come as the day goes. If you need to find trading, that's in my video description below and or pinned comments or on my homepage. BitUnix is my preferred choice. There's no KYC or VPN. You can trade XRP, lowest spot and leverage trading fees and lowest maker-taker fee on leverage. So take advantage of it. There's also Hotcoin, but I always have slightly weird liquidity issues there, so I tend to put it on the back burner. And then there's other options, but just make sure you stay on point. You don't let your emotions dictate a response. And we just let this play out a little bit here. We let this play out. If you're in the market, you just watch this go. If you're looking to add, you got to be strategic about it. But I would probably see what's going to happen at this FOMC meeting, because sometimes it front runs it going into it, and then all of a sudden we have a dive. However, with Ethereum holding 5% right now, I would like to see this as something more than just a temporary push up, but only time will tell. Have a blessed morning, everyone.